Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I wanted to take a bit of a deep dive into a series of books that I've been really enjoying over the last couple of years, and that is A.M. Howell's Mysteries at Sea series. And I love the concept of these books, which is that in every novel of the trilogy, a mystery is uncovered and then solved while the characters are on a sea voyage. And it really reminded me of the premise for M.G. Leonard and Sam Sedgman's Mysteries on Trains series, although there are some notable differences. One being that the Mysteries at Sea series has a historical setting. All three books take place over the summer of 1936, so the characters are very busy over that summer. The three books feature our heroine Alice, and we follow her in a journey of discovery about herself and her family, which is an arc across the trilogy of books, and that is very cleverly woven in with the three individual mysteries that make up this series. The first book in the series is Peril on the Atlantic, and we join Alice on the fabulous liner the Queen Mary, which is running between Southampton and New York. Alice's father has just gotten a new job as staff captain on board this ship, and Alice is joining him for the summer holidays. And she's so excited to explore, but a couple of days into the journey, she witnesses a brutal attack and finds herself being drawn into a very sinister plot on board, which she and her new friend Sonny will have to solve before the ship docks in New York. The second and third books in the series take place aboard the Lady Rose, which is a yacht belonging to Alice's family and which is captained by her father and rented out commercially. And aboard the yacht in the second novel, The Royal Jewel Plot, there is not only a very poisonous octopus who guards a fabulous opal in her tank, but also the King of England, Edward VIII, and a small party of friends who rented the yacht for a holiday. When the octopus and the opal go missing, Alice and Sonny will have to unravel the mystery or risk losing the yacht, which has become their home. But as they dig a little bit deeper into the mystery, they discover that everybody on board, even the king, has some secrets to hide. In the third book of the series, The Hollywood Kidnap Case, the Lady Rose is transporting famous Hollywood actress Estelle Fortune and members of her family from Egypt to London so that she can film her next blockbuster movie. But just before the yacht leaves, Alice finds a ransom note in the actress's cabin, and Estelle has disappeared. Alice and Sonny will have to work out who is threatening Estelle and where she is so that they can rescue her before the threats of the ransom note become a reality. First of all, these books are great reads. They're really pacey, thrilling adventure stories, and they've got really tricky, twisty mysteries at the heart of them, with twists that you don't see coming. And I feel like that is one of A.M. Howell's great strengths as a writer. There are also really interesting family themes through these books, especially themes of discovering and growing families and developing family relationships. And I really enjoyed reading about Alice's relationship with her father. He adores her and he's so excited for her to experience life at sea, but he also wants to do his job as staff captain on the Queen Mary and captain on the Lady Rose properly and to run a tight ship. And Alice, although she loves her dad, also really wants to investigate mysteries and get to the bottom of things. And so those two motivations do provide some tension and some clashes over the trilogy of books. But the way that their relationship grows and develops as they spend time together at sea is really lovely. Alice herself was a really fun and interesting main character to spend some time with. She's really thoughtful and observant, and she's got a real detective's instinct for uncovering mysteries and for picking up on clues and piecing them together to come to a resolution. She's also got a really strong sense of justice, and I feel like that is what really motivates her to want to get to the bottom of mysteries. She's really keen to uncover the truth, and she can't stand the idea that somebody completely innocent might be blamed for a crime they didn't commit. She's also she's very caring, and she's very headstrong and quite determined, which does lead to some clashes with other characters in the books. But I love that she always stands up for what she believes in. One of the great strengths of this series, and something that must have been so much fun to research and write, is a real sense of place. And of course, by setting your novels at sea, you get to transport your characters from place to place, and the reader gets to explore various locations along with the characters. And in the first book, In Peril on the Atlantic, you get to really explore the Queen Mary. It's the ship that provides a sense of place for the reader, and along with Alice, you get to see the gorgeous, glamorous shopping arcade on board, and the decadent mother of pearl tiles and the first-class swimming pool, right down to the luggage storage in the hold. You get to roam over the whole ship with the characters, and that is so much fun. Most of the action in the royal jewel plot takes place off the coast of Dubrovnik in Croatia, and you get such an evocative sense of the sun-soaked coastline and the little winding streets of the city, the towers built into the city walls, as well as the beauty of the place. It just made me want to visit immediately. In the third book, The Hollywood Kidnap Case, the action moves from Egypt to Valletta in Malta, and you get to explore both places with the characters, but you also get to experience the journey between the two destinations. And I think that brings me to my next point, which is that you also get such a sense of being on board and being at sea and experiencing what that is like. The interiors of both the Queen Mary and the Lady Rose must have been so meticulously researched and are so beautifully described. And actually, in the front of all of the books, there is a lovely map. I think you can see it there, which points out all of the features of each boat and essentially gives you kind of a little primer as to where everything is, so that you can better imagine what life on board these ships must be like. The Queen Mary, of course, was a real historic ship designed for the Atlantic crossing, and I believe that the ship is now docked in Los Angeles and functions as a hotel and conference centre. You can also take tours of it, but everything on board, from the engine room to the way that social stratas function on board, is so well described. In the second and third books, I was also completely fascinated to read about the layout of the Lady Rose and about the crew on board. For instance, I didn't know that commercial yachts in the 1930s would have included vacuum cleaners, or that they would have had a library on board. Following Alice as a main character is also so interesting because she is perfectly placed between the passengers and crew of both of the boats in this trilogy. So you get an insight into both how the ship works as a machine, and in terms of logistics, and in terms of the passenger experience. So there are lovely scenes where she helps clean and take care of the Lady Rose, and also where she gets to witness glamorous cocktail receptions for the king. And it's also a lovely description or illustration of life on board. a boat. So you wake up to the sound of the anchor dropping, and there are scenes of swimming off of the yacht or taking a small boat across to the coast. In some ways it is a little bit like having a kind of vicarious cruise holiday. So I would definitely recommend giving these a read if you haven't already. Full of twisty mysteries, full of fabulously paced action, full of great characters, full of period detail, and a little bit like taking a vacation if you like your vacations full of intrigue and quite high octane. Let me know if you read and enjoyed these, or if you plan to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!